Hello, Awesome Possums. Today we're going to read the story Journey of a Pioneer by Patricia J. Murphy. Notice and wonder with me as we read the story together. I'd like to start with the cover of the book, Journey of a Pioneer. And I'm noticing pictures that tell me that this story is probably taking place a long time ago. One thing I'm noticing is wagons and oxen pulling the wagons. I'm noticing a little girl with a long dress. She's holding a baby doll. I'm also noticing what appears to be the prairie in the background. I wonder where they're going. March 23, 1845. Dear Diary, my name is Olivia Clark and I've lived in Elk Grove, Missouri my whole life, but that's about to change. Pa heard that many farming families are moving west to the Oregon Territory. They're looking for free, open land and a new start. Since times are tough and our little plot of land can't produce many crops, we're leaving too. Paul told us at supper. I can't sleep. I'm noticing a lot on this page. I'm noticing she is using a candle to light her room, and I'm noticing the ink in the quill that she's writing with. Boys and girls, these are called speech boxes. This is a way for the author to tell us she's thinking about what she's writing. March 24th, 1845. Ma said Oregon Territory is far away and it will take many months to get there. Pa warned that we'd travel long distances and through wilderness. Sometimes we'd be the only white folk around. Once we arrive, we'll have a very large plot of land to ourselves. That means a bigger house, a barn for animals, and space to grow lots of crops. I hope I like it there, wherever there is. I'm noticing, boys and girls, a map on the picture, and I'm noticing a compass rose. It says the Oregon Trail was a 2,000-mile or 3,200-kilometer path from Missouri to Oregon Territory, passing natural landmarks and crossing rivers. It was used from 1843 up to the 1870s. April 8, 1845. We've been selling our furniture and anything else that won't fit in our wagon. Ma has filled large barrels with food and packed our cooking tools, china, and bedding into a trunk. I've packed my doll Johanna, but will leave her bed behind. Pa said that he would build Johanna another bed when he makes our new furniture. He has bought oxen to pull the wagon. Something new that I noticed on this page, boys and girls, is I've noticed an actual picture of what inside a wagon looked like long ago. It says traveling light. Food took up most of the room in the small space inside the wagon. Many personal items had to be left behind. I wonder what other stuff had to be left behind. Ma had to sell all her furniture, but I wonder if she had to sell something that was very important to her because it wouldn't fit into the wagon. April 10th, 1845. Today we said our last goodbyes. Grandma hugged me so tight I almost stopped breathing. Ma cried when her friends gave her a friendship quilt. Pa had tears in his eyes too. I wondered why everyone was so sad. Ma told me later that we might not see these people ever again. I didn't want to believe her, but Ma never lies. Up here, boys and girls, it says a friendship in a quilt. Friendship quilts were a popular parting gift. Friends sewed together names onto the quilts, colorful squares. May 4, 1845. Today we reached our jumping off point, Independence, Missouri. We bought last-minute wagon supplies here and met up with others heading west. We split up into groups of wagons called trains. Each train includes men with important skills such as doctors, blacksmiths, and builders. In our train, there is also a girl named Lizzie. She could be my new best friend. This is the wagons gathering in Independence, Missouri. I notice a river and I notice a riverboat. I wonder what river that is, boys and girls. The first traffic jams. With hundreds of wagons heading west at one time, slower moving wagons cause long stretches of traffic. Well, I guess things are the same as back then as they are today because we still have long stretches of traffic on the highways. May 13, 1845. We settled into a daily routine now. We wake as the sun rises, Ma makes breakfast, Pa hitches up the wagon, we pack up our things and away we go. Most of the day we walk behind the wagon. Sometimes we pick wildflowers. We travel up to 15 miles or 24 kilometers until night falls or we fall over. Independence Rock. To avoid traveling in the winter, families hoped to get to Independence Rock, Wyoming by the 4th of July. I wonder if any families did have to travel in the winter, and I wonder what happened. June 11, 1845. We make camp when we find a spot with enough grass and water for the oxen. Pa unhitches the oxen and puts them to rest. I'd collect dead sagebrush and dried buffalo dung for the fire and help put up our tent. Pa makes dinner. Tonight we used a tablecloth and candles since it was Pa's birthday. For a minute, it felt like home. Forming a corral. Each night, the travelers put their wagons in a circle to keep their animals in and wild animals out. I have a wonder question. I wonder what buffalo dung is. June 21st, 1845. After dinner, we clear the table, wash dishes, and make beds in the tent. On special nights, Pa and others play their fiddles and harmonicas. We sing and dance under the moon. Most nights, we just want to rest. I count backwards to get to sleep. It keeps me from wondering how close the howling animals are. Men take turns sitting watch to protect the camp. I wonder what types of howling animals there are out in the wilderness that they're traveling through. July 7, 1845. I try to be brave when we cross rivers, but it can be cold, wet, and scary. When the rivers are low, we just walk across. When the rivers are high, we wait until they are lower, and then the oxen pull the wagons across. As we cross, we watch the fast-moving currents. Yesterday, one man drowned and 2 wagons tipped over. The families lost everything. It says here that wagons were sealed with tar or pitch to prevent leaks. I wonder what pitch is. I know what tar is, but I'm wondering what pitch is. And I notice how scared these animals look. And I notice Olivia, she's there looking back. I wonder if she's scared. Oh, and I notice a wagon tipping over. Now that's really scary. July 28, 1845. I have seen Indians from afar a few times, but today I saw my first Indian up close. He was tall, thin, and had dark hair and skin. He wore leather and feathers. He'd offered us buffalo meat. Ma gave him some blankets in return. Pa traded some nails and beads for some moccasins. Indians aren't as scary as I thought they would be. Buffalo stampede. Travelers had more to fear from buffalo than from Indians. A stampede could trample them to death. August 3, 1845. Meals on the trail are different than they were back home. Most days we eat cornmeal, beans, or rice, served with bacon or dried beef. On windy or rainy days, we can't start fires, so everyone has cold meals. If Pa goes hunting, he might bring back an antelope or catch a rabbit or a bird for us to eat. When we find berries, Mom uses them to make fresh baked pies. See, this was their fried or their dried beef and cornmeal porridge, rice, elderberries, and blackberries. August 9, 1845. After endless prairies, we finally reached the mountains, but climbing the steep sides is hard work. To go up, we have to lighten our load, which means dumping Ma's stove and trunk. To get down, we tie a rope to a tree and then to the back of the wagon. Then we slowly let out the rope. The Rocky Mountains are too steep. Luckily, we used a flat, wide path through them called South Pass. Oregon Territory is close. I'm noticing this map and how much closer they are to the Oregon Territory. I'm noticing Pa taking out the stove, and I'm wondering, what's Mom going to cook on when she gets to Oregon now? South Pass. South Pass was a 12-mile or a 19-kilometer wide trail through the otherwise impassable Rocky Mountains. August 18th, 1845. On the trail, we have seen births, celebrated holidays, and marked many special events. We have seen tragedy, too. Some people have become very ill and died. Others have been struck by lightning, shot while hunting, drowned in crossing rivers, and killed by wagons and buffalo. The trail is filled with goodbyes. Today, Lizzie and her family set off on another path to a different part of the Oregon Territory. I will miss her. Seeing the elephant. Pioneers would say, I've seen the elephant when they met illness or death along the trail. I wonder why they said, I've seen an elephant. Why did they pick the word elephant? What an odd choice of word to say when you've seen someone ill or died. September 28, 1845. After 2,000 miles, or 3,200 kilometers, and 5 months of traveling, we arrived in Willamette Valley, Oregon Territory. After a few days' rest, we picked the plot of land where we'll live and farm. Once we've built our house, we'll have a big celebration with eating and dancing. We'll celebrate the end of our long journey and the beginning of our new life in Oregon Territory, our new home. Pioneer diaries. Historians believe that 1 in every 250 pioneers kept diaries and journals along the trail, recording their risky journey.